Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our seminar. I am Ella Bates, your organisational coach, and I want to personally thank you for dedicating your valuable time to enable us to guide you from good to greatness. This seminar is our Decluttering Friendships segment as part of our Getting It Done series. I'd like to before we get started, to point out a few features to you. If you're listening via webcast right now, you'll see on the left-hand side here, you can ask a question. So feel free to submit any questions you have at any time during the event. If you're listening simply by phone, you are not excluded. You can simply email ella@howtoorganisethat.com at any time, and we will do our best to address your questions during the allotted time. Our mission here at How to Organise That is to inspire you to transform how you utilise your time and help you truly reclaim your space. You'll find me often admit that whilst I can guide you to greatness in some segments, some I cannot. And that's where we should bring in the experts, and this is one of those times. For this event, we are addressing the need to declutter, not to declutter time and space, but an integral part of your day-to-day lifestyle with your friendships. I've invited a lady to join us who personally challenges me every day to live the life I deserve and I desire. This woman is an energetic facilitator. She's a transformational coach, a survivor, a powerhouse speaker who is fiercely committed to inspiring women to become their authentic selves. She empowers them to get the clarity, confidence, and courage that they need to live the life they deserve and desire. Nicole's life experiences have taught her that no matter how bad a situation may appear, it's possible to overcome. She says that once we make the decision to move from pain with purpose, we tap into our power and only good things can happen. She is the author of You Are More Than Enough. Thank you for joining us, Nicole Wright.
Hey, Ella, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. Wow.
I'm very welcome.
What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. I'm so delighted and so excited and so empowered to be here tonight on your series of decluttering. I do believe that if you want to live the life that you desire and the life that you see for yourself, then you need to ensure that you work on and you assess and you declutter most, if not all, of the areas. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Nicole, our pleasure. And also, I also want to thank your son. Please, guys, join me. And Nicole has a very, very sick little son today. He's not too well, so he's being looked after by his mom, who is also found the time to commit to us. So we really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Nicole.
My pleasure.
Nicole, tell us, why is it important that we consider decluttering our friends?
That's a very good question, Ella. And I do believe that it's important. First of all, I want to start off by saying, when it comes to friendship, it is a very touchy subject. It is also a very sensitive topic, right? Especially if you're talking about friendships that you've had over the years. But one thing I want to bring to our listeners, one awareness I want to bring is that just as how we declutter the cars, the closet, the kitchen, the garage, I believe it's important that if you want to show up in life authentically, you must declutter all aspects of your life and remove the thing or things that no longer brings you joy.
Agreed.
Yes, and in doing that, you need to ensure that the people that are surrounding you are members of what I like to call your dream team. You see, Ella, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Yeah.
So if your friends are tolerating you instead of celebrating you, then it is definitely time to elevate you. And elevation means that you take the time to surround yourself with people who appreciate you, and that you take yourself and your friendships to another level, a level that is in alignment with your highest good and the life that you desire to create, the life that you see. It is also important to evaluate the people that you have actually chosen, and that's the operative word here, to be in your world. So whilst you can't choose your family, the good thing about this mission is that you can choose your friendship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's great, and you're right. We absolutely have to evaluate here. But where on earth do we begin?
So you begin with the most important relationship or friendships that you have, and that is the one with self. So to begin, I want you to ask yourself, are my friendships supporting self-care, self-value, and self-worth? Take a look at the people that you have in your life, the ones that you depend on for energy, for support, the ones who really, really assist you in your personal growth, and ask yourself, do you have people in your life who are blocking your growth? And is the dynamics of these individuals dysfunctional? You see, one of the things that I've learned from you, Ella, is that when we declutter, we sort out or organize, and we also eliminate. So we have to decide, do we keep, do we toss, or do we give away? So sometimes you're going to need to unfriend or unlink. And I don't want you to believe that you have wasted your time based on the length of the friendship. So if it's been from high school or, wherever, don't believe that you've wasted your time. As long as you're able to learn from it and move forward, and moving forward in a better way that will help you in the long run to make better choices when it comes to your friendship, then you've not wasted your time. One important ingredient of self-care is that you protect yourself from toxic circumstances, be it people, place, or thing. So
I totally,
self.
I love that, the self-care. You're so right. And I heard just the other day, I was listening to someone speak, and they said that self-care is not considered selfish.
No. Because
it should not be considered selfish. I love that phrase.
Right. Because in order, Ella, for you to take care of me or anyone else, you've got to ensure that you're whole. And sometimes as individuals, we're so giving, and we give of ourselves, of our times, of our talents, of our money, just of us. And you should never be serving from your cup. You should always seek to give from your saucer. Because what happens, I want you to visualize a cup that's half filled with water or half empty, depending on how you're looking at it, right? And if you haven't taken the time to pour into that cup so that it starts overflowing, you will never get to where you seek, which is to have a life of joy and bliss and happiness, because you'll spend most of your time trying to refill that. So your goal is to make sure that you're whole and that you've taken care of self and your cup is overflowing, and then you serve from your saucer. Never serve from your cup, because if you do, you're not giving of yourself authentically because you're not whole.
I love that concept. Thank you. So is there any kind of secret formula to where to actually start and how to actually go through the elimination process with your friends?
Yes. What you need to do is to take a good, hard look at your friendships. And if you're on the call with us tonight, I want you to grab your pen and paper, because I'm going to be dropping some juicy nuggets for you.
All right. On it.
Okay. Perfect. So you need to look at I'm going to give you the headings, just like how you do your toss, your keep, and your giveaway. You look at reason, season, or lifetime. So I want you to feel free to cleanse yourselves of relationships that are no longer serving you. So the friend who calls you only when they need something, the friend who will call you because no one else is available, the friend that you devote your time and your advice to, but when you need them, they're never around, right? Or if you do get support from them, it's usually very negative or backhanded comments, right? The ones that continuously put you down, and the hangout buddy that just exhausts you. The friend, and this is important, the friend who has not made you a priority but an option. That is extremely important. Okay?
Can you elaborate what you mean by that?
Right. So if you're not priority on their list, but you're the person that they'll go to because nobody else is available, then you really want to take stock of that.
Right.
You as an individual should never make someone a priority when to them you are merely an option, right? You should value yourself enough that it's reciprocated. If I'm a priority to you and we're friends, then it should be reciprocated. If I become an option for you, then there's nothing wrong with you becoming an option for me. And then you need to ask yourself, do you really want to spend time engaging in this kind of friendship? So you also need to look at the energy-sucking relationships, the ones that just drain you. When you get off the phone, you're so exhausted. I want you to look at maintaining your friendships, the ones that are no longer working for you. It's like having a closet, and you'd love this, Ella, a closet that is cluttered with clothes of all different sizes that no longer fit, right? If you organize and declutter, it's a lot easier and it's more rewarding. You get dressed easily in the morning. Similarly, if you have been spending your time and giving of your emotions on friendships that are not satisfying, you're keeping yourself from developing new ones that may be more fulfilling. Mm-hmm. You need to know when the season is over. If you've tried over and over again and it brings you no joy, then you need to recognize that the season is over. So relationships all have a timestamp. Whether you embrace it or not, it's a fact. All relationships have a timestamp. People will come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you've taken the time to figure out which one it is, you will know what to do for each of these individuals. Friends come and friends will go, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to really take a look at what is your definition of friendship. So you may be calling them friend just because you mutually know someone, or it's easy to say this is my friend as opposed to this is an associate, right? I find sometimes we use the term friendship loosely. So the fact of the matter is that friends come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and I'm going to tell you what these different categories is. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Perfect. So I'm going to talk first about the reason. So friends will come into your life for something as simple as just a reason. They may have all the qualities of being a great friend. However, when it comes down to the meat of the matter, they just don't have what it takes. These people tend to talk the big game, right? But these individuals will leave you hanging. These individuals will take all the advice from you. So all the advice, all your care, all your love. However, when it comes your time to get the same treatment, they're nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. I want you to envision a tree right now, and I want you to see these people as leaves on a tree. These people are so fragile that when the wind blows, it takes them away, and they may never be seen again. These people, you need to toss them. Then we move on to the other category, and that is the season. Now, here is where it gets very tricky because you're in the middle. You're in the meantime. You're not sure. Okay?
Okay.
Friends that stay for a season are the tricky ones because at this point, your bond is stronger than the one you had that was for the reason. Mm-hmm. However, you're not sure if they're going to be there for the long haul, right? The thing is that you don't know what life have in store, so trying to figure out if they're going to stay for a lifetime is pointless. Friends that stay for a season, however, are valuable, right? Because they teach you morals, values, and the lessons that you have learned from these individuals will stick with you. The reasons these people may go or may need to go, so sometimes they go for life reasons, sometimes they die, right, which is a part of life, okay? Or maybe you just had a then that's sad, but or maybe you had a falling out that you can't seem, you just can't seem to recreate what you had before. Mm-hmm. Either way, the time that you spend building the friendship is very valuable. And it shouldn't be taken as if they were only there for a reason. Remember that they've been serving you over a period of time, and these are the seasonal friendships. When it comes to these individuals, what I'd love for you to do is to take what you can from it. So you take the lessons that you need to learn. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So what you need to do is that remember that if your friendship isn't intact anymore, you can always take something from the friendship that is worthwhile. These people are like the branches on the tree. So remember that the reasons were the leaves and these people are the branches. So they're still significant. Yes. Branches, however, Ella, as you and I know in this cold weather, branches will die and they'll fall off. But sometimes they rebuild themselves, usually after a long time, right? And that's why they're called seasonal, as in like spring, summer, autumn. You know, the leaves fall off and then in the springtime they'll come back. These people, you need to release them. You need to give them away so that they can serve another person or find their good elsewhere. If it's meant to be, just like springtime, they'll come back. Then you have the lifetime friendship, right? And as you can imagine, these are friends that will stick around with you forever. These are like family. These individuals are like the roots of a tree. They give the tree, which is yourself, life. They're very hard to get rid of, and they're very hard to dig up, right? These friends, these people aren't going nowhere, right? So these friends will tell you whether you're right or wrong. They'll advise them. The advice that you get from these friends, it can't be found on a friendship blog, unfortunately. These people are authentic and they have your best interests at heart. These friends will actually fight with you to make your life better. They will cry when you cry to comfort you, and they will consult with you to build your strength. These individuals, you put them in the keep bin. And overall, Ella, you need all these types of friendships, the ones that are for a reason, the ones that are for a season, and the ones that are for a lifetime. Because if you don't have a healthy mixture, you won't be able to value the importance of others. I hope that helps you with the formula there.
It really does, and I love that because, and I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues at work just a few days ago about friends being circumstantial, colleagues being circumstantial, people coming into your life very much, like you say, for a reason, for how long, whether it's a season or a lifetime. And I love that, and I'm sure the people on the phone can very much picture who those people are right now. Those people that give you life. And I love the fact that, you know, the trunk of the tree and the branches and the leaves, and I'm now going to be referring to my friends as the leaves of my tree. And I hope to shake that tree in the rain, and I love that analogy. I really do. I actually have a question at this point, if that's okay to ask you, Nicole.
Sure.
I have a question coming in from one of our listeners. They said, when it comes to social media, specifically Facebook, they're asking, how do you distinguish between the reason, the season, the lifetime, and should you when it comes to making posts? What's your take on that?
I believe that it's for you to assess. So remember, you begin with self. You have to decide and determine what are your core values when it comes to friendship, right? Is it communication? Is it acknowledgement? What do you value most when it comes to your friends? I know for me personally that communication and acknowledgement happens to be serious. So if you forget my birthday, I may put you in the giveaway bin, to be honest with you. No, I'm being honest. And so when you enter my space as my friend, I'm very clear about what my expectations are. I will say to you, Ella, I love birthdays, which I do, right? I may say to you, New Year's Eve is important. So you need to make sure. I also say to you that communication is key for me. I need to know what's happening, and you need to communicate that directly to me. So when it comes to social media, it's a very tricky one. And you need to because you have control over social media. For me personally, I will never add somebody onto my Facebook unless I know them. And if somebody sends me a friend request, I will send a message to say, have we met? Because I am choosing in that space who I allow into my world of Facebook. And that is why for me, as a rule, I never have my work colleagues as a part of my Facebook friendship team, because we work together. We're associates. We're not friends.
That's correct. That's correct. Now,
Yeah, and
you mentioned there the friendship team. I'm sorry to interrupt there. Please go ahead, Nicole.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ella.
You mentioned there the friendship team, so we're just so excited. I'm just so excited to have you online, Nicole. Really, really am.
That's okay.
We're learning lots, not just from myself and other people with the questions coming through there. You mentioned the friendship team. You actually referred to it as the dream team earlier on. I love that.
Yes. And I'll talk
do you
a little
bit your own friends as dream team?
Yes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go down. I just wanted to point out the steps, though, because these steps are important. So when you've made a decision to declutter, here are some tips for you. Once again, grab your pen and paper. I'm going to drop some juicy nuggets, and then I'll talk about the dream team. Thank you for asking that, Ella.
Thank you.
So you need to first and foremost accept the reality, number one. So the first step into ending unhealthy relationships is to acknowledge the truth about the toxic friendship. So don't try to justify and rationalize a friend's behavior. If it is not serving your highest good, then you must release it. Realize that you can't change your toxic friend's behavior, but you can change your own behavior. Friendship is a choice. So number one, you need to accept it. Number two, be very clear about your intentions. Now, why this may be scary for a lot of us, you need to be honest and straightforward when telling your friend that you no longer desire to be in this friendship. You need to tell them exactly how you feel and why you're choosing to remove yourself from the friendship. And it may take several attempts to really end a toxic friendship. But if your goal is to remove negativity from your life, you need to ensure that you keep trying until you are successful. Okay? The third thing is to identify your role in the relationship. So take a good look in the mirror and acknowledge your own unhealthy behavior. It really does take two to tango. Why have you allowed this to carry on? What are the things that you are believing about yourself that is allowing you to feel that it is okay to have this type of friendship going on ending, right? So you need to identify your role. Then here comes the important one. Choose a way to end it.
So I think this is the part where it's very, very tricky for a lot of people.
Right. So it's really based on individual circumstances, but you need to decide how you want to end it. Now, there are one or two ways you can have a conversation. So you know what, this is no longer working for me. Or you can quit cold turkey, like just say, you know what, I've had enough. Or you can do the weaning process. Now, I'm the queen of that. Hey, don't judge me. Right, because I want to avoid the confrontation, especially if this person is toxic. So I will decrease my contact with this person until slowly there's no more contact, right?
Right.
You need to also forgive your toxic friends. Forgiveness is important. So either way, to their face, you need to say, you know what, Ella, I no longer choose to be friends with you. Here is what you've done. Here is how I feel. I'm going to move on. But you need to make sure that you have forgiven them and let it go. Okay? The sixth one is give yourself some time to grieve. It is going to hurt, right? It's a grieving process. You're losing your friend. And feeling sad or upset, it's very natural. And the length of time that it takes for you to grieve is very personal. Right? But the good thing about the grieving process, Ella, is by the time you decide that it is time to end it, you would have already gone through a number of those steps. You would have decided why you want to end it, why it's not working. So by the time you let it go, you may not even be grieving so much. For you, it may be more of a sigh of relief. I've finally done it. Right? In order to lead a healthy life, I can't overemphasize this tonight, is that you need to remove toxic people from it. You need to also be aware of the red flags. If something doesn't feel right, it is more than likely that it is not. Okay? So you had asked about the dream team, and I love dream teams. I believe that once you have decided where you want to go, you treat your life like the top organizations do. They do it all the time. You decide who will play what role in your life, right? There are times when you're going to have to move people from one department of your life to another. So if Ella is not the person I can call when my son is ill, then I will not put her in that category. But if Ella is somebody that I can call to organize my laundry room, then this is where Ella will be. So when it comes to your dream team, you need to think of 10 individuals who will strongly support your dream. Who are the people that is there for you? Who are the people that will support you? Who are the people that will be honest with you? Who are the people that are not naysayers? And these are the people you put on your dream team. You are the CEO of You Incorporated, and you need to treat yourself as such. Large organizations do it, like I've said before. Sometimes you have to hire people. Sometimes you have to fire people. Sometimes you have to promote people, right? But know that essentially you're in control, you're in charge. When it comes to releasing and letting go, ask yourself, why have I made the decision? So if you find it very difficult and you're tempted to call this person that you no longer want to be associated with, have what I call the if and then contingency plan. So if I've decided that I no longer want to have Suzanne in my life and I feel like calling her, I will then call Mary instead, because we're humans, right? And if you've shared anything at all with this individual, you're going to miss them, right? It's going to be scary. You may feel afraid. You may feel that you're not enough to carry on without them. You may feel afraid that they're going to be sharing your secrets, but always go back to your why. Why did you feel the need to end the friendship in the first place? And that will help you.
I love that. I love that dream team. Now, Nicole, you sent me some information earlier on about a dream team. Is that something that I'm okay to share?
Yes, I did share that with you as some resource. I from time to time walk my clients through the dream team process. So yes, please feel free to hand it out as a resource.
Wonderful. So listeners, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email just a few minutes after the webinar finishes with that wonderful resource. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. Now, one question that's come through, is that okay for me to ask a question at this point?
Go right ahead, my love.
And listeners, if you're already thinking of a question, please, you can submit it now, and I will address it at the appropriate time here with Nicole. So let's ask a question here on when you're having that conversation, should you kind of practice how you're going to formulate it, or should you just call them up and say, this is what I think? Like, how do you go about starting the process of having that conversation, whether it's calling them up or having it face-to-face?
Very good question. This type of conversation I like to call a crucial conversation, right? And it all depends on the circumstances. So if this is something that you've been thinking about for a while, you may already have that conversation over and over in your head. Mm-hmm. I'm going to suggest that you not just call them up and have a conversation, because then it becomes too emotional, right? And you may end up saying things that you may regret in the end. So what I like to do is to say, have a dry run with yourself. Stand in the mirror and say, you know what, Ella, I'm calling you to express this is how I feel. And be very, 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 here is where now you have to let them know how you feel. So try not to be, don't go about accusing them, but say, when we went out for drinks and you did not pay the bill as you said you would, I felt as though you were using me. Be very careful with your choice of words. Don't tell them what they did. So you don't want to be coming at them. You want to tell them, because right now it's all about you. Use the I statement as much as you possibly can. This is how I feel. However, there may be a time when you need to have it on the spot. So if a behavior is continuous and you're watching it play out, you need to stop them right then and there and say, Ella, you know what? This has happened for the third, fourth, or fifth time. And I do believe that it's best that we part company, because then the evidence is clear. So it's very circumstantial. It all depends on the situation and on the individual. If you know that this person is explosive and erratic and dramatic and you don't want that, maybe you can send an email. And then you'll have the opportunity to express yourself, because it's not like you're being a coward. You're just trying to avoid that confrontation. And remember that it's all about you now. This is not work. This is not corporate ethics or politics or whatever we choose to call it. This is about you and you being the CEO of your life. Guess what? You got to call the shots. You run the show however you please. This is your life. Yes.
I love that. I love that you refer to it as you incorporated.
Yes, it's your life, right? You get
it is, and you're quite right. And like you say, you're giving yourself permission. I know that you run a program called Permission Granted, and that's exactly what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes,
it's like giving yourself permission to live the life that you desire and that you deserve. And being honest with yourself or saying it out loud is, for a lot of people, a very frightening experience. And I like the fact that you said, look in the mirror and have a dry run conversation, because how many times do we go to bed and we think, okay, this is how I'm going to have a conversation, this is what I'm going to say, we run things through our mind, or we say, I wish I'd said this in this circumstance, maybe I should have said that at the time, and it's good to know that you can sit down and formulate it, because, like you say, you're CEO, you're going to formulate your plan with your own recruitment strategies, with you incorporated. I really like the fact that you referred to that. I do. Nicole, we do have another question coming through here. This is from Stacey, and Stacey's asking, she wants to go back to the season and knowing that, that friends come in and friends come out, and she'll have friends sometimes. She says, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read her at the same time. She's mentioning that she's part of a volleyball team, and sometimes they won't see each other for a long time outside of the season and then come back to those friendships. But sometimes that she finds that she feels that she almost must be friends with these people because they're team members. Would you refer to that as the same way in the workplace?
No. Those people are not seasonal people, Stacey. Those people are reason. And the reason they're there is for recreation. Because let's say you have a life-changing circumstance. Let's say you get pregnant or something happens and you no longer want to play volleyball, then that will be the end of that. So they're serving the purpose in your life right now for recreational purposes. However, if there's some people on the team that you've become closer with, then I'm sure that you'll socialize with them outside of the volleyball season. So we have to be very careful that you define what friendship, what a friend is, Stacey, because if you're only seeing these people certain times of the year and they're not there for you to maintain throughout, are these people really friends or are they just volleyball acquaintances?
That's a good point. It really is. And we all know, we've all been there, especially when we're in our younger days of being at work or in recreation, we do very much consider everyone that we socialise with a friend, and that's on the rise and things like social media. I've added you as a friend, now you are my friend. So we use it very loosely, whereas, like you said, these people are part of your strength. They are, they keep you alive. They're the juice for you being able to bounce ideas and get excited together and celebrate together and cry together. And I love the whole leaf analogy. I'm really, really going to refer to my friends as leaves and trunks, and I need to be careful how I say that, don't I? And I would like to go, if you don't mind, just reversing back a little bit there to the whole grieving process as well, because a lot of the time we all do put that guilt on ourselves. Is that self-doubt? Did I do the right thing? And like you say, going back to that why, what can be challenges if those friends are linked to others in circles as well? How do you suggest that we approach that?
Well, you need to know, Ella, what is right for you. So sometimes you may need to not just cut the fingers off, but the entire arm, right? Meaning that if these individuals are connected, and if the toxicity is spread right throughout the group, then you need to ask yourself, do you want to be aligned with this group? Also ask yourself, if I decide to remain friends with one or two members of the group, how am I going to feel? And if it's going to bring you any sense of discomfort, then you need to release the entire group and you need to let it go. Unfortunately, this is not an easy thing to do, but don't forget it's all about you. However, if you are able to still socialize in this manner, and you may not be talking to one or two or three individuals, and you're okay with it, then that's fine. I know for me personally that would not work unless there are people in the group that are valuable to me, and then I'll choose to meet them outside of the norm, outside of the social circles that we'll normally meet in. And you have to then ask yourself about trust then, because are you going to trust these individuals enough to hold whatever you are telling them in confidence and not to share it with the group, right? So you have to decide what can really work for you. Do I want to be uncomfortable, or will I feel better releasing, grieving for a while, but then I feel safe and secure?
Thank you. Thank you. That really just answered that question. And sorry, I'm just checking here if there's any other questions coming through, guys. If you have a question, now's your time to ask it. If you're on the phone, you can simply email me, ella@howtoorganisethat.com, or you can simply go to the left there if you're on the webcast. Sorry, just doing a reload here. We do have one other question. Can you please tell us, Nicole, what more than enough means when it comes to your book? What does that mean? That's from Jenny. Oh, Nicole, are you still there? Nicole, we can't hear you. Come in, Nicole. Okay, it does seem that we may have potentially lost Nicole off the call. I'm going to try and just lift off this mute here. Nicole, are you with us? Can you hear me? Nicole, testing 1, 2, 3. Are you there, Nicole? It seems to be that Nicole has dropped off the call. My apologies, guys. I hope Nicole can still hear us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Nicole on the seminar, and I hope you can hear us. Thank you very, very much for those incredible tools. Oh, I can hear you in the background.
Perfect. And that
here we go. Welcome back.
Okay.
We lost you.
I'm talking aware. To be more than enough means that you don't need permission, validation, or confirmation from anyone to show up as your authentic self. To be more than enough means to understand that you're valuable and that you're worthy just as you are. Perfect with all your imperfections.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Nicole. So, Nicole, I'm sorry, I was just saying what a pleasure it has to have you on the seminar live with us. Thank you so much for all your incredible tools to enable us to declutter those friendships and find our dream team and this wonderful tree of life. I absolutely love that analogy. Thank you. Guys, if you would like more details on how we can serve you at How to Organize That or other webinars this month, or details on Nicole Wright, our fabulous guest speaker, you'll find on the webcast page there are links on the left-hand side here. And for those on the phone, we're going to email it right out to you a few minutes following this call, alongside the Dream Team resource. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing that as well. But we'll send all those contactable details if you want to get more information. Our wonderful participants, thank you so much for your level of interaction with your questions. And thank you for deciding to invest your time, both for myself and Nicole. Until next time, everyone, Nicole and listeners, happy decluttering. And we do wish you a wonderful evening. Thank you again, Nicole. Have a lovely evening, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Now. Bye.
Bye-bye.